Alright, I'm going to tell y'all a certain part of Cherokee ancestry. I'm from Kentucky. Sorry. I'm from Kentucky, and there is a certain aspect of Cherokee ancestry that I'll tell you about. And what that is there is a certain expectation that you'll give back to the community. That is one of the expectations of Cherokee ancestry here in Kentucky. My grandmother's grandfather was from Oklahoma, but there was a certain expectation here that if you had, Cherokee heritage or Cherokee blood, you were required to give back to the community in some way. Now, I've tried to do it in volunteer service and donations and stuff like that. Like, I went and donated clothes and furniture and information, especially, to different establishments. But for some of the people that claim certain Native ancestry, which for my dad's family, it was always more or less, like a lot of people in Kentucky, they would say Cherokee, which my grandmother was a Caudle. And the expectation was that if you had any Native blood in you, then you would be required to give back somehow to the community that you live in. So whether you were volunteering your time and your work, going to somewhere that was connected to the Cherokee community where you could volunteer your time, even mowing yards or anything else, donating information, stuff like that, there was a certain requirement to give back as someone of that heritage. So, I hear some people and they're like the Cherokee community and all that stuff. The thing of it is, there are certain requirements to that. It's just giving back to the community. So, it's all good and fine to say certain things and stuff. But here in Kentucky, especially, if you are connected to that community, there is a certain requirement to sort of give back to that community to be beneficial in some way to that community. Now, when it comes to government and running it and, taxes and stuff like that, there is a certain requirement of every community. But there was a specific expectation that someone with Cherokee blood would somehow give back somehow to the Cherokee community, the Native American community, somehow. Like I said, I've donated, information and books and time and mowed yards and everything else as part of that particular, expectation. My father did the same. So, while I know people like my husband don't feel that pressure, at the same time, with some people and they're writing me and they're saying certain things, realize when y'all are writing me and saying, it's like this or it's like that, tell me what it's like, I know what it's like. But there is a certain expectation that anyone of the Native community sort of give back to the community somehow. I've tried to, and it's sort of a never-ending thing. There's always a need that arises. So, if y'all have the time, if y'all have the means, that is sort of the expectation, and really it's the expectation of a lot of communities, if you can find a way to sort of give back to the community and benefit the community somehow. That's how it's supposed to be done.